Welcome back to the Factory Digitalization podcast. My name is Jan from Global and we help factories to be more efficient. Last episode, we covered a full 5-step roadmap. Today, we dive into step 1. And honestly, this is where the most factories get it wrong right from the first start. The problem, factories generating data every day, but not capturing it or capturing it manually with pen and paper. Why this step is foundation of the data collection. Without reliable data, every decision downstream is a guess. What is manufacturing data collection and why it matters? Collecting information from machines, production lines and shop floor gives you data about time losses, equipment conditions and so on. It is overall emotionless data of the production. Without data, you can't establish a baseline or set goals or track what is happening in your manufacturing. To do this, there is different types of data what you can collect. By standard, Global Reader can measure pieces of produced environmental conditions like temperature or humidity, machine status like is it running or stopped or is it idling or anything else. Just ask. We will find a way how to get it. Think about it. How many production managers make decisions based on yesterday's handwritten shift reports? That data is already old and this is not data-driven. That's storytelling. Data collection enables the most important metric of manufacturing, availability. So to give you an example where data collection actually matters, let's say we have a machine what is running, let's say 8 hours. You expect certain amount of production comes out of it within 8 hours. By the end of the day, all the pieces what were produced were collected in the paper and maybe in Excel, if in better cases. Next day, if production manager comes to work, he can see that the production amount wasn't as expected. And then he goes to the operator and asks why. And the operator has tens of reasons why he couldn't work as it's supposed to work. Okay, if you collect the data and ask from the operators why in this certain time it wasn't working in this certain amount of time, if you're doing it really long time, by the end of the day, the operators get used to it that you know that the machine is not running and you will ask why it is not running. That means in long term, you don't have to ask it because operator will tell you themselves. And so it grows the culture of the company. How Global Reader collects data in real life examples. First of all, like most commonly used is our Scout box. It is basically a purpose-built small hardware box installed near machines. It reads signals from the sensors, let's say pieces of cycle times, meters, time, and so on, and sends them directly to the cloud in real time. It is great for older machines or less automated lines what don't have any controllers. Second option is to use machine controllers, and via different protocols like Modbus or OPC UA, it is possible to get data directly to the cloud. Global Reader either asks controller the data or controller pushes data to Global Reader. It works well with newer machines where many useful signals already exist and collected and analyzed already in the controller. Thirdly, there is an option of database connection. Similar as the machine connections, Global Reader can read from existing databases, for example, ERPs, messes, or quality systems. So you don't have to duplicate data entries. It combines business data like orders, products, or customers, or product information with the machine data, cycles, downtime, and so on in one place. Fourthly, there is a new solution, AI camera, but acts like a sensor. Basically, you set up a camera, it starts counting pieces or meters or so on, or square meters what you need, and sends data directly again to the cloud where Global Reader can access it. We can count pieces what are side by side, what you can't count with regular sensors. We can count square meters, what is really not so easy to do it with regular sensors, or it will be really expensive. And we can analyze the data with AI models and flows into the same system and same dashboards as with every other way to get data. Fifth, sometimes there is no machinery to measure. There is only operator who is doing their own work. And with manual input from touchscreens like tablets or touchscreen PCs, you can get data directly from the operator to the cloud again and analyze it, why and what was produced and who did it. The goal of data collection is not to eliminate humans, but to make every important event visible. Whether it is come from the sensor, controller, a database, or AI camera, or just from the operators, you are finally having an easy way to log what's really happening. All 5 sources end up in one unified data layer that feeds OE and dashboards and analytics. What happens after you start collecting data? Data-driven decision making. For the first time, decisions are based on real facts, not opinions or guesses. Reducing downtime patterns merge. You can see what machine stops frequently, when it stops and how long. You can optimize performance. Data shows if machine runs an optimal speed or not. And do you need any speed adjustment? Thirdly, quality improvement. Tracking defect rates back to the specific machines, shifts or conditions can give you hints where to look at to improve your quality. A real life happened story what one of our customers told us. When they installed Global Reader hardware and software to their machines, they increased their availability by 15%. And you can guess why. Reason was unbelievably simple. Since the operators knew that some new stuff was used to measure their work, the psychological effect kicked in and they worked 15% more. How much money would that make you? So let's put it in the numbers. 15% equals 1 hour and 17 minutes roughly. That is 25 hours per month. This is 3 extra days of work time what the customer gained. Just the operator saw something is measuring them and they acted faster. Customers can say that yes, our machines are really old and it doesn't. There is no point sensors to measure it. We can put our own sensors and measure any movements in the machinery, regardless of the age. Some customers say that we have already ERP. We can see whenever the production started, whenever it ended. But in real life, the operators can start multiple operations or multiple orders at the same time and end these at the end of the day. That means you don't know when exact order was finished, when it was started, or how long it even took time, because everything is like done in really long period. Also, you don't get real time of work time. So how much time the machine had to work for this order. You can get only when the machine was started, when the operator selected yes, start this order, and when it was stopped. Time for this is like from start to end, when the operator gave its input. But with Global Reader, you get exactly the time when it started and when the production ended, because it's measured by sensors, not by human input. Humans can go for a break or have a coffee or go to the toilet or something like this, and all of it is already counted inside the production if you measure only by ERP. What is the return of investment? So in last example where the availability was increased 15%, so it's 25 hours of extra work time what was actually done in the manufacturing. If you put this one into money, let's say 1 hour of work time costs 100 euros, is 2,500 euros per month extra earned. For that, we can say earn back time is counted in days, not in weeks or months or years. And that is just by one machine only. So let's wrap this up. Data collection is the foundation. Skip it and everything else falls apart. So now you have data streaming from your machines. Great. But a lot of numbers on the screen doesn't help anyone. On the next episode, we will take a look how to actually make sense of that data collected and turn it into decisions. See you on the next time.